What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Welcome to the channel, everyone. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I know I haven't been posting for the last few days, but I've been busy because right now, guys, I'm officially dead. And I gotta say, a lot of you guys kind of like warned me before and said Skratch is the most amazing feeling. Well, let me tell you this. Words cannot simply describe the feeling, guys. I'm a proud daddy, so I'm gonna share a community post with you guys later on. In today's video, I want to talk about the new patch. We got live arena in game, we got a bunch of new champions, we got the fusion, we're going to check the calendar as well. I didn't have a chance to drop a guide on the fusion just yet, but keep an eye for that. I'm probably going to do one for tomorrow or later on today. So basically, what's new in this patch, guys? We have the new Great Hall that's been added to the game, of course. I'm going to drop a guide on how to prioritize everything in the new Great Hall for you guys and what to avoid. Keep an eye for that later on as well. We have a bunch of new champions together with the fusion, of course. More dilution in the void pool as usual. We got a brand new void legendary champion, which is kind of like okayish, but nothing that's really standing out as a void legendary. And live arena is open for everyone, guys. Now, a lot of you guys were wondering what's happening if I'm gonna collect some milestones before from the beta. Well, basically, they're still here. If you collected them already, you're not gonna get lucky enough to collect them twice. So you're gonna continue from where you were left on. Of course, you're gonna keep the medals that you had for the Great Hall. And in terms of schedule, at the moment, it seems like this is the active schedule. I actually showcased this in a previous video where I was kind of like explaining why it might not be that amazing the way it is, because there are 4 different slots, and for a lot of people will be hard to get to play it around this time, you know. So that's still kind of like in the same way, nothing really changed there. Definitely looking forward to try it out once it's open. Now, a lot of you guys might be hitting on big guys at the very beginning, right? So we have the first time slot, the second time slot. You might want to skip them and let the Krakens climb up a bit. It's not because, oh my god, I'm gonna lose a fight, it's the end of the world. No, but the more wins you're getting, the more rewards you're getting, and honestly, you just don't want to waste tokens. They're pretty precious, they're very expensive. So yes, you can actually purchase extra ones. You see, up to 6 times. Well, it's not the way it is. It's not like Tag Team Arena. This doesn't have a cap. So the last token that you can purchase reaches 100 gems per refill for 5 fights. And that is unlimited. You don't have a cap like in Tag Team Arena on how many you can purchase. And you can go on and on and on and on and purchase 1,000 of them if you want, but they are at 100 gems. So they are definitely pretty expensive, and you definitely don't want to mess around and lose a lot of fights. You know, you want to make the most out of it to put your hand on medals and do the Great Hall. The next quick thing that I want to cover about the Great Hall, guys, it seems by the looks of it that you're going to be able to go in and pick whatever grade you guys want without being forced to complete one of the previous ones. So let's just say we're going to the Fire Knight and we're going to upgrade this, and it doesn't matter what exactly we are doing. For example, you know, this is costing me double already, which is the way it works. The higher the grade, the bigger the cost, you see. So we have grade 3, that's the price for grade 3, grade 2, that's the price for grade 2, and grade 1, which honestly nobody should even worry about it. This should only be completed once you completed everything else. It's much cheaper, but honestly is a waste of medals and you just don't want to do it. How I mentioned, I'm going to do a detailed guide on the Great Hall, okay? Mistakes to avoid, how you want to start it, etc. But the good part about it is that you're not forced to complete tier by tier how we presume that it might happen. That being said, let's quickly have a look at some of the new champions that got released and the fusion calendar. So if we're going to go all the way to the website for them right here, this is the calendar for the fusion. Razelwerk Fusion, you are able to collect 1 epic from the Summon Rush, which will start tomorrow. It seems like the Summon Rush doesn't give us any rare champions whatsoever, but then you are able to collect 16 rare champions from the rest of the events. And actually, yes, you can get rares from the Summon Rush, my bad. So you can get one rare from the Summon Rush. Seems like I was blind. So you're gonna get one rare from the Summon Rush. You're gonna get an epic from the Summon Rush if you have enough shards to complete it. And then you're gonna need to go through the rest. The tournaments, the champion chase tournament as well, which is right here. That gives one rare champion. And I feel like it should be more doable to complete the fusion. Like, you can, for example, go and all in and get the epic champion, and then you're going to be able to skip the champion chase tournament, for example, because you're going to get a rare from the Summon Rush and the epic, and you're kind of like covered then. You're going to be able to get the legendary. So I feel like in terms of this, the fusion seems fairly doable. Let me know if I've got anything wrong in here. You're going to be able to see all these events. And of course, as usual, I'm going to link this infographic in my Discord. And most probably, we're going to link it for you guys on the website on aftershockunited.gg as well in an article. Just so you guys kind of like get a breakdown of the entire event. And then we have a few new champions, right? Please welcome a brand new batch of Sylvan Watchers champions. So we have Kleidna, Rarity, Legendary, Void. We're gonna check them in a second. We have this one right here, and we have Lockwain. So we got a bunch of new champions, and honestly, I'm not very excited about the new Void Legendary champion. It seems like recently, personally, I'm not very excited about them. She does look pretty cool. Like when I've seen it, I was like, oh my god, new Void Legendary again. Is she gonna be good? She has pretty good base stats. Her speed is not that amazing, but she starts with resistance, accuracy, very good HP, considering that she's an HP-based champion. On the A1, attacks one enemy, has a 70% chance to place a sleep debuff for one turn, fills the turn meter by 15 if the sleep debuff is placed. This might sound good, for example, for the Sand Devil's Necropolis. This turn meter could potentially mess you up if you are looking at tuning a team. So it's going to make it a bit harder. On the A2, on a 3-turn cooldown, fully booked, 100% chance of landing decreased speed debuff and a leech debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Also, heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. And by the looks of it, this skill is not actually attacking. It's not actually doing damage. It might do, but by the looks of it, it's just saying that it's placing the debuffs, not attacking. On the A3, places a block debuffs and a revive on that buff on all allies for 2 turns. On a 3-turn cooldown, fully booked. Now again, this sounds very, very interesting for the Sand Devil's Necropolis. The only problem right here is that you don't really need the block debuffs with the revive on that, because you're gonna die and you're gonna lose the block debuffs, and then you're gonna get decreased speed on your team, so your tune is kind of like gonna get messed up, you know? So I'm not saying it's not gonna be possible to make a team with her for the Sand Devil's Necropolis, but honestly, I just feel like it's gonna be more of a pain, and you're still gonna need to bring in a champion like a Raiho Bone Spear or something like that to enable that cleanse and that nice tuning on the team to have enough debuffs on the boss. I just wish that the block debuffs was on this skill instead of the heal, and the heal would have been right here with the revive on that, you know, just in case. I know they're kind of like hitting each other head in the head, but then with the passive, has a 30% chance of completely blocking the incoming damage on the first hit of an attack. Occurs once per turn. This will go all the way up to 60%. This is actually very, very interesting. Now, if it's gonna be helpful for your entire team, you know, to block the damage for the entire team, is gonna be great. I'm pretty sure the passive is gonna have a 60% chance to block it on champion 1, 60% chance on champion 2, 60% chance on champion 3. So this is not gonna be consistent for the entire board, for the entire team. I might be wrong on it. I'm definitely gonna test out the champion, do a guide on her, and see kind of like what we think about it. But this is kind of like my impression by just seeing the wording in the passive. increases ally HP in dungeons by 40%. And of course, we have a couple of new epics. We have Lockwayne right here, an attack-based champion. Looks pretty cool in terms of design. On the A1, attacks one enemy, has a chance to steal a random buff, attacks all enemies, removes Veil or Perfect Veil, and has a chance to remove another buff from all enemies. Decent, not a crazy kid, but pretty good for some of the arena teams. The only problem again is having different blessings, and yeah, he needs to hit pretty hard. He's not Void Affinity, so because he attacks when he strips the buffs, he's gonna get weak hits, and he's not gonna manage to remove the buffs from those champions as an idea. So kind of like that. With the A3, attacks one enemy 2 times, will ignore shield buffs, resets the cooldowns of this skill if this attack kills an enemy on a 4-turn cooldown. His base attack is not that insane. I'm not sure what sort of multipliers he has to be able to kind of like be like, okay, he's gonna smack hard. Increases this champion's accuracy by 10 for each buff on each enemy. That's actually a pretty nice passive. Imagine a Madame series or a Setalia having a similar passive. It would have been very nice a couple of years ago. And increases ally speed in arena battles by 20%. Then of course we have this new chick, Wyronon the Silken. With A1, attacks one enemy, 40% chance of placing decreased attack, fills the thermometer of all allies by 15%, and places an increased speed buff on all allies on a 4-turn cooldown fully booked. Revives a dead ally with 50% HP and 30% thermometer. Also places a continuous heal buff on that ally for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. And a speed aura in faction creeps by 20%. You know what that means, guys? This faction creep is going to open pretty soon. I think it's a matter of weeks in my opinion, but I guess we're gonna get to see it when it's happening. And of course we have a new rare champion in here, Margrave Greenhawk. He is used for the current fusion, attacks one enemy, continuous heal buff for 1 turn on the ally with the lowest HP, attacks 3 times at random. We have a chance to provoke and a reflect damage buff on this champion for 2 turns. HP based champion, so it's gonna be fairly tanky. The A3 places an ally protection buff on all allies except this champion, and an increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. This skill right here could potentially help you in faction wars for if you're gonna encounter the boss that ignores defense. I'm not sure exactly what bosses we're gonna have on this faction creep rotation, but I feel like that could be potentially pretty interesting because of the ally protection, reflect damage, and just being an HP based champion, fairly decent. Of course, the fusion champion, we haven't really checked him just yet in terms of stats and anything like that. Let me see, what is he hiding? There we go. Pretty good base stats, 110 base speed. So he's gonna be the fastest champion in the game, guys. But I'm gonna do a detailed guide on it. We already know what he can do, what skills he has. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think about this patch? I really think it's a big patch, getting the Great Hall, the live arena. Definitely looking forward to it. That was all for this video. Much love, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.